One of my long-awaited projects has been building a drill bit holder for all the random drill bits I have, and it's built out of scrap wood. The design is relatively simple, with just the horizontal and verticals 5 inches wide, with a rabbet joint in it. My first step was cutting everything to 5 inches wide, and then I moved on to cutting everything to length. The horizontals I didn't really have any specific measurement, however the length of the whole project was going to be 24 inches. Now the second step was cutting out the rabbet joint, which took a little bit of time to figure out what my height was, and then how deep it was going to be. However, it was pretty simple in the end. It was just a matter of laying out the top and the bottom, and cutting them out, and then cutting away all the material that was in between, creating a nice tight fit. Then last but not least, I found a piece of scrap board from an old shelf, and I figured it'd make a good backer board. I cut its height first, and then I just cheated a little bit, and I cut the width out after I had assembled everything. Last but not least, I had to mark out where the holes were going to be drilled. I marked out the width, and then I marked out the increments that it was going to be drilled. The bottoms of the drill bit had to sit somewhere, so we put a little recess in the bottom. And then we drilled the top plate all the way through as well.
Cut.
I'm going to fold that there. After you've rough cut out your material, you're going to spray your wood first, and then set it off to the side. And then you'll spray your fabric, and you'll put the two together.
Is this the pirate symbol? It's poison.
Remember, when you're doing this, you're going to want good ventilation. And perhaps even a mask. Now, this is where you're going to want to slow down and make sure everything's flat and tight. If not, you're going to have some wrinkles in it, and you might have a bit of a headache. You're really going to want to have a sharp razor for the next step. You're gently going to pull with your left hand and cut along the edge of where the fabric is and the wood. You might want to practice on a few scraps before you actually move on to your own project, but once you get the hang of it, it's really simple. Next, for the tedious part. On the top part, I had to cut an X pattern across the whole top. And then I had to fold in all of the triangles to show the rounds so I could get the drill bits through. Once we get out to the shop and I start using it in practice, I'm going to have to make sure that there's a bit of oil on every drill bit every time I put it away, or it might attract some moisture and create rust on the drill bit shanks. However, it's a clean shop and it's a dry shop, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. But if it was stored outside or somewhere that was a little suspect, I wouldn't recommend building one of these. Now for a quick rough assembly to make sure everything's fitting together nicely. Last but not least, we have to fill out the backing board as well and then fully assemble it. I wound up using a ton of screws in this, and I had to pre-drill quite a bit of it. After all, once it's completely assembled, it's going to have quite a bit of weight, probably 20 to 30 drill bits that are quite large fitted up in the whole thing. Special thanks to a friend of mine, Todd, from work, who showed me how to do this. Todd was a professional guide, and also does taxidermy as well, and this used to be used on backing plates for the old school mountings. Pretty sure if I did this project again, I would have painted the top horizontal green. That way I didn't see the bare wood through the holes. Once again, you're going to want to put probably 5 to 10 screws on each side because there's going to be a lot of weight on this. And then once you mount it on the wall, Specifically, I made sure there were 6 to each stud so that it doesn't fall off the wall later and cause me a lot of headache. Hey, if you like this video, don't forget to hit subscribe because I got a few more coming down the pipe that I think you're going to enjoy. See you next time.
See, you're going to be in the shot there, though. You're right there.